Hello, welcome back. We're now exactly 5 weeks out to the Arnold's Classic. And today I want to show you a little bit more about my workout. I want to explain each and every exercise we're doing today. And we're going through all that together, step by step. I will explain what exercise I'm doing. I will explain it while I'm doing it, kind of a voiceover thing. So I want to show you how I design my workouts in order to activate all different muscle groups we need to activate in order to stimulate them, in order to change the look on stage. It's always important to know what kind of muscle fibers you really activate in order to know where you grow. Because in the end, that's what it's about. We want to bring a balanced physique to stage. Not only muscle, we want to create an illusion, something beautiful, something three-dimensional flowing together. And that's what we're going to do. We trained back today. The next video is going to be quads. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see more of that. If yes, I will record it for you, obviously. And please don't forget to check out the previous videos. We had great training partners, great videos, many things to learn. And last but not least, before we start working out today, I want to let you know, guys, that we are launching our WhatsApp coaching again. We used our professional coaching application we built years ago to teach and coach our clients. Now we understand that life is faster and people need instant reply and instant 24/7 access to their coach to know what can I change when I don't want to eat rice. If I don't like bench press anymore, if I don't do this, if my sleep is bad, if my kid waking up every night 4 times, how can I recover? All these things, that's what we address in our coaching 24/7, really fast, easy. And it's not that expensive that the professional coaching, don't get me wrong. The WhatsApp coaching is not made for professional competing athletes. It's more for a lifestyle and people want to lose weight, gain muscle. And we understood that you don't need to pay so much money and you don't need to be so precise like a professional competing athlete to reach your goals. Most of the time, it's down to some basics we need to adjust and we need to control it over time with our check-ins, and that's easily done on WhatsApp. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's super easy, and it's going to be launched in March. So get ready. The coaching spot will be $150 total, no additional fees, no contract, no hidden fees, no hooks. You can cancel whenever you want. It's a month-to-month coaching whenever you need it. You can sign up. If you don't need it, sign out. That's it. Really easy. And now let's get this thing started. All right, as you guys know, I like to keep my warm-ups as short as possible. First, we need to change the handle. I like to use more like a horizontal kind of handle. And these are especially perfectly designed because you can basically change how your wrist is doing the exercise. I don't like to be completely horizontal. I like to be just slightly turned inwards so I can feel my lats a little bit better. And as you can see, I set it up a little bit higher than my shoulder height. Then as I'm stepping 2 steps back, I get a good stretch in the end and an almost perfect contraction when I'm pulling it towards my hips. And this is what we're doing. As we stretch out, we lean into it. And as we contract, we lift our upper body to just slightly change the angle. And this is what it's about. First step is always 20 reps, lightweight, just to get the groove, to get some blood going. Second step is 10 reps. We are increasing the weight just slightly, and that's the most important thing. Now we are warming up soft tissue, ligaments, joints, all that important stuff. And last step is 5 reps. 5 reps is almost working set weight. The reason for that is, as we're increasing the weight, heavier loads always feel a little bit uncomfortable. You don't get the connection right away. This is why I do 5 reps in my warm-up as well, to be neurologically aligned or prepared to do my first working set, which is heavier. So the first working set won't feel that awkward and uncomfortable because we already moved some heavier weights. And as you can see, I'm trying to release the weight really slow for like 2, maybe 3 seconds. I'm enjoying the stretch. I feel that my lats stretched out, and from there I'm pulling back to my hips. And that's the important part. We're not pulling to the chest, we're pulling low. So it's more like a really long, open movement. Then we start with our working sets, 2 in total, and we're trying to hit failure 2 times. We go as heavy as possible, and we're trying to do as many reps as possible, obviously. That's the goal for each and every working set. So let's start. And if you guys are interested in the workout by itself, you can download the split for just $5. It's listed in the description below. It's on my website, Sommerfeld.com. Easy peasy, one-click download, $5. Complete split, exercises, reps, a little instruction, what to do, how to do. It's a 5-day split. It's push-pull legs and upper-lower. You're gonna enjoy this one, it's a good one. And now let's do this thing. Okay, so our second exercise for today is an upper back row. I call it trap row. But before we start, big shout out to Climax for the grips. Since 8, 9 or 10 years, I'm using these straps to take load off my forearms and my biceps and focus more on activating my back muscle instead of biceps and forearms. Usually you will find that forearms and biceps, they are the limiting factor. They are the bottleneck. In order to train our back entirely to a point where all muscle fibers get recruited, we need to push that far that back muscle fibers start to give up, and not biceps and not forearms. And these grips, these straps, they help tremendously. So here you can see that I'm pulling straight to my upper part of the chest. So I'm not pulling low to my hips as we did with the pullovers. I'm trying to target my traps, the muscles between my shoulder plates. In order to contract them, we need to move shoulder plates. That being said, as we're lowering the weight, we're wrapping our shoulder plates around the chest pad to open them up. And as we contract, we push our chest against the pad and we're contracting shoulder blades together. That's the movement. And this is what traps are doing, especially as we're rowing from low to up. This is more like a shrug / row. It trains the upper trap muscle, and we have basically 3 different directions. This one, retraction, and downwards. All these 3 movements, they come from traps. So now we're activating especially the upper part of the back and upper part of the traps. Definitely one of my most favorite back exercises for lower lat fibers, and especially the lower outer part of back. So as you're standing in front and you open it up, these thick muscle bellies under your arms, the lats, this is what this exercise is going to do. This will create that depth, that volume when you're standing in front of the judges. Really important. What I like to do here, I like to sit slightly back, arch my back just slightly, but keep my chest up. And as I'm pulling, I'm trying to lift my finger like this, like a pistol. So I get like 10-15% less bicep activation and forearm activation. That helps me to focus more on my back, especially the contracted part when we're pulling low and we're feeling the muscle fiber contract together, I get such a great feeling when I lift my finger. It's just a small detail, but it makes absolutely sense and you will feel it. From there, I'm trying to stretch my lats out entirely. So I'm still sitting back and I let my arm pull my lats to the ceiling in order to stretch it out. And from the most stretched position, where we get the best stimulus, by the way, we're leading the movement with our elbows. We're not trying to pull it down. We're trying to bring our elbow down to the hips, like this. And then you will feel the difference. As you're just pulling back and your arms drifting that way, you're activating more traps. But if you stay like this, slightly arched, and you pull in front of your body, this is where lat fibers really get the fire. That's what we're going to do for 2 sets here. You need to try it. You're gonna love it. Unfortunately, not everyone has new tech equipment, but you can also do that on a cable. So you sit back, you're not sitting on the pad, you're sitting slightly back behind the pad, and you're pulling from this direction into your lats. Great exercise, try it out. One more set to go, and then we're training some shoulders. That is another great exercise, especially for rear delts / traps. We just finished our back workout, and to finish off back entirely with a different movement, and at the same time we're targeting rear delts, we're combining rear flies with dumbbells. And usually I always do cable rear delts because it feels different, it feels better, especially the stretching part. But as I trained with Neil a few days ago, he showed me a different variation of rear delt pulls / trap pulls, and now we introduced it to my workouts to target slightly more traps combined with rear delts. And what we're doing here, we're starting with rear flies, obviously, to target the rear delts. And once we hit failure, after 14, 15, 16, 18 reps, we are resting for like 5 seconds, and then we are pulling. We are not doing the regular reverse flies, we do a reverse pull. That way we are activating traps, so we are slightly stronger, and we can add maybe 8, 9 or 10 extra reps because we're activating traps. That way we can get a tiny bit more out of the rear delts, but still finishing off the traps. Great exercise. I like to superset these, the rear flies and the pulls. And we do 4 sets here. That's the only exercise we're doing for delts. We train delts again come push day. So we have at least 2, 3 shoulder days per week, which is totally fine. For push days, that's more like front side delts. For back, it's more like side and rear delts. So great exercise, give it a try. All right, great exercise. The first one for biceps, preacher curls. And I know many people like preacher curls, but they don't do it anymore because they feel that cable curls, especially the pre-stretch ones, are more effective. And that's true when it comes to the lengthened part, the stretch part by itself. But I need to tell you that biceps, they grow in multiple different ways, in a stretch position and also in a contracted position. So the preacher curl by itself is an amazing exercise if you want to target biceps in a contracted position. And especially these machines, these new tech machines, they're adjustable in many different ways. You can adjust the pad where your arm is. You can adjust the range of motion where you grip. You can adjust the height where your seating is. So great exercise, great adjustments. And this is how I start my biceps, always with preacher curls. Next exercise is going to be the stretch one, but I'm making sure that I'm hitting biceps in 2 different ways, the contracted part and obviously the lengthened, the stretch part. we're gonna do 2 sets of each, 2 sets preacher, 2 sets of the stretch ones, 2 sets straight to failure. Then we're finishing the workout. We're coming back later for session number 2, which is quads. Obviously the next video, but this is biceps. We finish it right here. 1 more set here, stretch 1, and then we're good to go. So guys, so far so good. Hope you guys like it so far. A little bit explanation. It's more like a educational content, but I believe that me as a competitor, as an Olympian athlete, I can show you some tweaks, some tricks, some tips here and there. And maybe there is something, maybe there's just one tip what helps you to grow bigger biceps or to have a better workout, whatever. I am more than happy to provide whatever I know to give you a little bit of inspiration and motivation on your journey, because in the end, we are playing the same game. Maybe different levels, but it's the same game. And as I can help you, it makes more than happy. As I already said, that's the last exercise for today. This is the stretch bicep curls. It has a million different names. I call it stretch curl. That's the easiest thing for me to remember. So as you can see, the handle is slightly lower than my hips. So as I'm grabbing to stabilize myself, I try to let my arms stretch behind my body. And then I'm curling from there and lifting my arm in front of my body. Because this movement is still slightly bicep, and as we're bending the arm, this is where bicep gets really activated. So I'm trying to stand as upright as possible, and let my arm stretch behind my body until I can feel the stretch in my biceps. And from the most intense stretch, I'm trying to first of all not hurt myself, and secondly, I'm pulling and I'm lifting my arm to the front. And right here, that's the moment I get the perfect contraction. And from there, I'm releasing it slowly backwards until I feel the stretch. Holding it for a second, and from there, curling upwards. Really simple. We can go really heavy here. I'm trying to stay a little bit lower, between like 6 and 10 reps, but slower, better in control, and we're emphasizing stretch. Guys, that's it so far. I hope you liked the video. Please let me know. Write some comments below. Give me a like. Share with your friends. Let me know what you think. That's the most important part. If you guys like these videos, let me know. I will record more for you. If not, we go back to the Road to Arnold's Classic. We're gonna do it anyway to keep you updated what's happening. But right here, this is more, as I said, educational, to give you guys some tips and tricks to move forward, because that's what it's about. Every minute you invest, you should learn, you should get better. And I'm trying to help you with that. Let me know what you think, and guys, see you for the next one.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave.